Hello everyone,
Hi everybody, this is Jay,
and this is Brendan.
and this is the B and J show. Do 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 do.
Get that? Brendan, Jay, B and J.
B and J, and it's not the what you might think it is. Dirty,
Dirty bastards.
dirty bastards.
So I think the first thing to start our first episode, we're going to be doing this weekly. We're going to try to do this weekly.
We're going to try to do it weekly. It could be here in the pub I run, which is still closed, and we're going to do it from different locations.
Yeah,
Might even do it from the Bat one of these days. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Could you imagine Brendan and Jay in the Bat? No.
No. Hell to the no. So I think, you know what, to start this first episode, I need to bring up something very serious. I think it's a serious topic.
Oh, it's quite sassy. Sounds quite sassy.
RuPaul's Drag Race. So I just want to, do you follow RuPaul's Drag Race?
I followed the first one.
The
Because
first one is in the American one or the UK
first
one?
UK one.
Okay.
I haven't really got into the American one yet. I have started watching it, but the UK one, I was well hooked on it because I knew a few of the queens.
Some of the local
queens,
queens,
you know.
yeah.
I knew Bag of Chips. I knew the Vivian. I knew something Wong. Something Wong.
Something Wong, yes.
She was in it as well.
Amazing performer.
Who else was in it? Vinegar Tits was in it. Or Vinegar Strokes, not Vinegar
Vinegar
Tits.
Tits.
Vinegar Tits, that's fucking...
Tits on his
that's
mind.
Prisoner Cell Block H, Vinegar Tits. Who else was in it? You had... what's your woman's name? Hole? Is it?
Oh, Cheryl Hole.
Cheryl Hole, yeah, Cheryl Hole was in it. And you had... there was another Northern Ireland queen in it, and there was another American fella in it, but he was based in England. Didn't think much of him because he had hairy pits. Very hairy pits. He never shaved, and he had a bit of hair down the side.
Nasty.
Vile.
Well, I mean, I'm heavily following this latest season. I know that you were saying that you were gonna.
I'm gonna wait till
up on it.
I'm gonna wait till they all play out, and then I'll sit down one evening and I'll watch it from start to finish.
Yeah, but this latest episode actually brings me to, I think, something that I think we should talk about, because I'm very much Team Lawrence Chaney.
Is she, where is she from? Is she the Glaswegian queen?
No, from Scotland, a Scottish queen.
Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Sorry,
Scottish
yes,
queen,
Glaswegian,
yeah.
yes. So Scottish queen, amazing performer, very, very comedic. But one of the challenges actually in the last week was talking about, it was a stand-up comedy challenge. And one of the things that Lawrence actually touched on was coming out stories within his jokes. And I actually thought, it actually struck me, and I was like, what's your coming out story? How did you come out?
Oh God, how did I come out?
I think coming out stories are quite interesting, because everyone has a different...
Yeah, God, like, I mean, I'm 48 now. That would have been...
You don't look a day over 35.
Thanks, that's another 20 euros I owe you. Well, I say euros because he likes going to Spain a lot. God, Jesus, 48, so it would have been... It was about 23. About 22 years ago it was. I was back home in Dublin, Ireland.
Okay.
We were at a party in my next door neighbour's house, and with my mum and dad, and it ended up my dad got a bit intoxicated. Very well, a bit. I'd say he was absolutely twatted. He was, and Dad likes to sing when he's drunk and entertaining people. And when we got back into the house, he started an argument with me to say that I was. I made a show of him, and you were trying to take the attention away from him and all like that. Which I was quite surprised because my dad was a lot older than me. I think I was only probably about 21, 22 years of age, I'd say. And he ended up, we got into a big argument over it. I left the house. I packed my bags and I left the house. I got attacked. As I was leaving the house, I heard my mum screaming, as in, it was screaming or crying really. And then I rushed back into the house because I thought my father was abusing, hitting my mother. That's what I thought at that time. I was drunk, and I went back in. My father was running towards me, but I pushed him, and we had this dado rail in the middle of the wallpaper and the painted area, and there was a corner. He hit the corner and he dropped onto the ground.
Wow.
I actually thought I killed him, and I ran, got a taxi up to my brother's up in Clondalkin in Dublin, and told him everything that happened. And he said, "No, you're not leaving this go." He says, "You're getting into the car now. You're going back down. You're going to sort it out." So I said, "Right, okay." Went down, and our house in Dublin is quite small. Like, you know what I mean? Because it was like 7 of us. It was only 2 bedroom. Like, you know, 5 boys in one room, mum and dad in the other room. And I was sitting at the end of the table. Say, I was sitting here. My brother was sitting at this end of the table. And my brother David, he turned around and he said to me, "You changed." He says, "You have changed." And I said, "What do you mean changed?" He said, "Over the last few months," he said, "you've changed so much," he says. And I turned around and, not forgetting actually, that my dad was standing behind me at the sink washing his preferred cup that he uses for his cup of tea all the time. And I turned around and I said to my brother, I said, "You want to know what I've changed? I've changed because I'm gay."
Wow.
And his face just dropped. And then I heard this cup behind me drop into the sink and smashing.
Dramatic.
And I'm like, I just looked at my brother and I went, "He's behind me, isn't he?" And
That's something you see in a film.
like literally Dave, my brother Dave, his face was just like, he was just like nodding as this to say, "Yeah, he is." And at that stage I could feel me heart was racing. And next minute then my father, he turned around, he says, "Don't care," he says, "None of my sons will be like that," he says. "I've got 5 boys, they will marry, they will have kids. I won't entertain that one bit." Okay. So at this stage, I went upstairs, I went to bed, David went home. Next morning, Mum spoke to me, told me, "Is this true what your father says?" And I went, "Yeah." I said, "I don't know what way I'm going to address him, or what is he still want me to talk to me? Does he want me to move out, or what?" Yeah. My mum sort of had a feeling. I went out with girls. And my dad, the biggest funny thing about it was my father always said, he said, "Jesus, my Jason, Jesus, the girlfriends he has, obviously he loves girls with big tits." Because all the girls that I went out with, but I told all the girls, except one, like later on,
that you were gay?
That I was gay. And I said, "Just to keep my mum and dad happy, would
so
you be my girlfriend?"
essentially were being.
Yeah, and they were like we'd have a kiss and a cuddle in front of it, just to keep the story going. Keep the story going, like, you know. And it ended up then. It took me dad about 2 years to actually come to terms with it. And then he sat me down one night up in the Silver Granite in Palmerstown, and he said to me, he says, "Look," he says, "I don't like what you've become." Never said the gay word, or he never said that. He just said, like, you know, the way you are, or like, you know, the way dad's like. I mean, my mum and dad are 82 now, like, you know, but it's gone back like until we're in there. Jesus, probably over 20 years ago. And he just turned around and he said, "Look, I accept you for what you are. I don't like the idea, but maybe it's just a long phase to go through." And I was like, "Fucking hell, it's a very fucking long phase."
It's a very long, girthy phase.
You know? But now, I tell you, now my mum and dad are the most
They're pretty good, aren't they?
loving parents.
And obviously you've got Alex.
I've got Alex, yeah. I've met Alex. It was Growler or Grinder. It was one of them anyway.
During Stitches, wasn't it?
It was my last day at Stitches, and I messaged him, and he was getting on a plane back to Russia. So I never met him.
Yeah.
I only seen a picture of him.
But he gets along well with your family.
Oh, my mum and dad, I love him. Absolutely adore him. Yeah. I mean, like, my dad, like, you know, when anytime we do a video call, and my dad is like, you know, "Alex, I love you." And that's a big thing for my dad to tell another man
from where he's come
from to this now, like, you know. And my family are fantastic about it.
Yeah.
One of my brothers, Dave, he was a bit funny at first, but he wouldn't let anybody say a bad word about me.
Yeah.
So if I'm running a straight bar, and if he was here and somebody made a derogative comment, I'll say, like there's a couple of words I hate. Faggot is one. I absolutely hate that word. It just makes me blood boil. And I mean, I have literally fucking jumped bars, I've jumped tables just to fucking go for people because they've used that word towards me. It's derogative. I just don't like it.
I think every gay man at some point in his life has. You know what? I seen this post on Facebook recently, where someone said, "I think every gay man at some point in his life has been shouted the word faggot from a moving vehicle."
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, it made me think. You know what? That's actually quite true.
And I mean, I've been called the faggot as well by women.
Yeah.
And my topic of the way I would comment back on that wouldn't be, you know, I said, yeah, I said I might be a faggot, but your husband wasn't saying that last night when I was blowing him. You know what I mean? You have to be quick, and I mean us Irish are fucking quick.
Scandalous.
But like, you know, you have to be quick. You have to have
to survive as a gay man.
Yeah,
I think
you
you
have
have to be
thick-skinned.
You've got to be, yeah.
You have to be thick-skinned. There's no ifs or buts about it. You know
Even
what
if
I mean?
you're not, I think you've got to have an element of faking it
Yeah.
to be able to get through.
What about you? How was it?
You know what? You know Mama Vidas.
Oh well,
You-
we love Mama Viz. I love Mama Viz. She is such a character.
So my mother is amazing.
And especially like, you know, for like, you know, your Mama Viz to be from down under, and especially her Brendan is from down under.
So I'm from New Zealand,
Shady.
and I moved over to London when I was almost 22, and I mean my first partner, and through that relationship I came out, and I was so petrified.
Yeah.
I was so petrified because growing up in New Zealand, it wasn't a very out. As much as people see it as a very liberal place with Jacinda Ardern, who's amazing as Prime Minister.
It doesn't have to be New Zealand. It's everywhere.
I think
especially with my family. My family. Sorry for cutting you short. My family were a Catholic family.
Yeah.
Church-going citizens. Like, you know what I mean. Everything was, no, you can't do that. That's against the religion. Blah 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 blah. You're gay. You cannot be gay. You have to procreate. You have to stick your sausage in the eager beaver. How would that, like, you know what I mean?
Sorry, no offense to the females watching this.
No, it's all right.
We love your part.
It's all right. They all love me. I can say that. I can bury the bally bit in the eager beaver, you know. That's the, you know, nice straight down, you know what I mean?
But no,
Oh, sorry,
my mum was, I was petrified. I was petrified. You know, growing up in New Zealand, it was a very, you know, getting bullied through school. And I think you get it drilled into you that as a New Zealand child, you grow up being told, you know, you've got to drink beer, you've got to be into sports, you know, you've got to like champion the All Blacks, you know, you've got to be a man.
Yeah, but then when they say that, you say you have to drink beer, but beer makes you queer anyway.
Beer is gross. I'd much rather have a cocktail any day.
Yeah, I don't know about the tail though, but I think you love the first part of that.
But no, I was very much of that age where I was raised to be a traditional man and like those types of things, because that's what makes a Kiwi male or a man, or, you know, masculine, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I was petrified, but I remember like timing it well. I remember planning with my first partner how to come out, and I had written an email because I didn't have the guts at the time. I think I was like 23 or 24. I didn't have the guts at the time to actually speak to my mother or family about the fact that I was gay. So I decided, okay, I'm going to type an email and I'm going to send it at the right time of the day in the UK.
Okay.
So that she would get it at the time that I was asleep. Because of the 12-hour time difference.
I think that we all sometimes like to do that, like, you know.
I thought that was perfect.
Yours was an email and mine was a cup smash in the sink.
See, mine was less dramatic, but I timed it well, so I didn't have. So it alleviated some of the stress for me. So that I thought, okay, if I wake up the next day, she's already going to have processed this information. But I got the most amazing response back from her. I can't quite remember what it is, and I've actually looked through my emails in the last like 6 months or so, actually, because it's reminded me of it. Looking for her response, but her response had something along the lines, because I grew up like absolutely idolizing Jennifer Saunders, Adina Monsoon, and Fab, Fortune Saunders.
Obviously, you like big people.
I loved it.
Love big people.
And so I remember part of her reply to me was, you know, I'm like Adina Monsoon. You know, I love the gays.
Yes,
you know,
sweetie.
something along those lines. And
Yes,
it was,
sweetie, yeah.
It was. It was the most amazing sort of reply.
Yeah.
And you know what? I feel very fortunate to not have experienced a lot of the negativity that, apart from a couple of instances, a lot of the negativity that you sort of like get from whether it be family or friends or being ostracized for your sexuality. My family have been the most amazing family when it comes to supporting me. You know, even my nephews, and I'm not going to well up, but my nephews at my wedding, you know, were ring bearers, and I had all three, Jaden, Levi and Luca, there. It was amazing. It was amazing to have them be part of the family, and I, you know, Rob, my husband, who's an amazing husband. You know, his mum and stepfather came over from Louisiana or Oklahoma, I think it was at the time they were living, to come over and support us in our wedding in New Zealand. It was amazing. It was amazing. So I feel very fortunate in that sense.
I'm like, you know, you say that, you know, you're married to Rob and all like that. I just can't wait to be married to Alex. Yeah. I just cannot. Just words cannot describe how I'm feeling about this guy and how I so want to marry him and spend the rest of my life with him, because literally, as I say, so we're going to get old together. We're going to be on Zimmer frames together.
And what's even better than that, honestly, than the fact that you've named me Flower Boy.
Oh, well, you know what I mean.
Also,
well,
best man.
You know what I mean. So I think you might be upgraded. You might be upgraded yet, love. I tell you, you know what I mean. If you keep on this good track, this good side of me,
as long as I get to throw like the little like rainbow-coloured flower petals down, and then you know what I mean? And then quickly go up and sashay to the front.
See, my like, you know, because me and Alex, we talk about it all the time about our wedding and things like that. And I mean, like, we did have our engagement party here in the pub, and it was the most amazing night. That was just planned in probably about 2 weeks. It was planned, and the invitation went down on Facebook, and so many of you guys came up for it from London and from all over
Spain.
London. You know, even from Spain, people came over for it, and it was so funny that night. We had all the gays all up this end of the bar, and we had all the straight people down that end of the bar. So as soon as the drag queen finished and the music started, all the straights wanted to come up because all the gays were all dancing and things like that. It was the talk of the pub for at least about 6-8 months after it, and they were all saying, if that's the way your engagement party is, I can only imagine what your wedding's going to be. Now, I mean, I've because I mean, I've got a few friends that are drag queens, and I'm thinking of bringing them in as bridesmaids, and you know what I mean, and things like that. Like, you know what I mean, because I have 3 favourite drag queens that I've always I've regarded them
as long as you're not like looking for someone who's to be your best man / flower boy, because obviously.
Oh no, you're already sorted. Like, don't worry about that. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, you know, you're going to be there for both of us. Like, you know what I mean?
With my little unicorn outfit.
Oh, don't worry, you'll have something fabulous, darling, fabulous. You know, but it's going to be it's going to be, because
it's going to be great.
My way of thinking is, I'm only going to do it once. At the end of the day, you meet the man of your dreams. Jesus, and how we met was just unbelievable. You fell in love with him at first sight, and that was just a picture. And then 6 weeks we were texting one another on the phone, on WhatsApp. Still hadn't phoned one another, still hadn't video called one another. And then one Saturday morning after 6 weeks, I said to him, "So you fancy a video call?" And he said, "Yeah." We video called one another, and that was it.
You're making me moist, Jay. You're making me moist.
I know. I thought I could hear a tap trip somewhere, love. But I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be the highlight of my.
As soon as we come out of lockdown, I think you can start planning.
I think we're going to start planning a lot of stuff now when you come out of lockdown, and like, you know, and then get them over here, get them moved over, and get them settled, and let's start working our arses off, save money, do the wedding. You know what I mean? We might have to do a wedding in a registry office maybe first. I don't know, but if it's a way of them getting
see what the way of life is after lockdown.
Exactly, yeah, and see what way we can do it. So, but like, you know, well, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to be a proper married man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Not that like I'm on the shelf at the moment, like, you know.
I mean, you're going to have to say no to so many guys in London and the world.
I mean, how do you know that? How do you know that? Maybe the two of us might want to experiment together.
Oh my! Oh my! So that
you heard that from me.
That actually.
I'm joking.
Leave your DM your private details.
We're not sluts. Or are we?
Or are we?
That could be in the next conversation.
B&J after hours. We did discuss that earlier tonight.
Yeah, that's another thing we could like, you know what I mean?
We could do that.
The implements of everything. But a bit
Of
more
everything. Right.
cruder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So let's go to lockdown. Let's talk about lockdown. How have you found lockdown? Lockdown's been I mean, I know that we've probably got people watching from other places, and you know what? I'm green with envy watching so many friends of mine on Facebook celebrating Mardi Gras in Sydney, throughout Australia, and the way of life. Obviously, I have my family in New Zealand, and
I hope.
I
Just sorry to put you short there. I hope all your family were okay. We had that big earthquake the other day.
They had an earthquake, another earthquake.
8.1 in the Calumet Islands, is it?
They was, I believe,
And then we had
around Auckland.
8.1 was the big one, and then
8.1 is a huge earthquake.
7.4 to 7.2 straight after each other.
Yeah, I think my family is from Christchurch. Obviously, they had the big earthquake in 2011 that basically wiped out the city.
Yeah.
I mean,
Killed
you know,
a
a
lot
lot
as
of family, a few people I knew actually, died in that.
And a lot of people actually left.
A lot of people left after that
because they were too scared of it.
Yeah, but no, thank you. But they are fine.
Yeah. Good. And to shout out to Anthony as well, Anthony Davison, and Powell.
Of course, yeah.
Anthony's family are from
Kiwi.
New Zealand as well.
Yep.
We hope all your family are okay as well. And we did see your message on Facebook there the other day. I sent you a thumbs up or a love heart, I think, to say thinking of you, and I hope all your family are okay over there.
So how have you found lockdown? I mean, lockdown over here is, you know, my point was, you know, New Zealand, Australia, they seem to be doing quite fine, along with a number of other countries, but over here it's very different.
Over here it's been horrendous. It's been horrendous.
The last year has been pretty shocking. And we're coming up to a year, isn't
we're coming
it?
up to, well,
March 16th I was sent home from work. March 20th was when
March
we stopped.
20th, yeah, that's Friday the 20th of 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Yep.
We had to close all the pubs. To be honest with you, I hated it. I've absolutely hated it. I just felt like somebody had Hoover and literally, Hoover and sucked the life out of me. It felt like everything was just, like, as I said, like the Hoover, everything was taken away. It's just like, I'm looking at things and all of a sudden they're just fading. And I'm like saying, what the fuck is going on here? Like, you know what I mean? It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And as I said, like, you know, you knew anyway, you and Rob knew, like, I mean, I was upstairs on my own and Alex was in lockdown in Russia. I think after about 5 weeks, I was keeping myself busy doing a few bits and bobs upstairs. But after the 5 weeks, I was there, but then all of a sudden as the days went on, I just felt myself on an escalator that was going very slow, down.
And I think it actually, like, it did go that way for a lot of people, because at the start, like, I know this from you know, being in a situation where I'm working in an office and then working from home. At the start, it was a novelty.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I think maybe even being out of work, it may have been a novelty, but it was a novelty working from home in a different situation. But it was summer.
But I think, yeah, it was summer. Yeah, good. Like, I mean, I could sit upstairs on the balcony. I was on the balcony there, and it was great. You open the windows and things like that.
I could sit at my desk with, like, literally no clothes on, and I did. I did most days. But meetings, I would be naked.
Yeah, but it was just like Groundhog Day. That's literally the best way of actually describing it was like Groundhog Day, because people are saying, "Oh, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I'd go, same fucking thing I did yesterday, fuck all.
How did you do the weekend? What did you get up to?
You know what I mean? Did you meet up with friends? It's like what Boris Johnson said.
Yeah.
It was like this. Like,
you're going to do an impression.
I was going to do
You're going to do an impression.
I haven't got the hair.
Like, I can see the eyes of you're trying.
I felt like I was just channeling Mr. Johnson there. It was like, if your friends ask you to meet up, tell them to fuck off. No, but no, it was no, I didn't like it. I didn't like the first one. The first one was horrendous. Yeah. It was fucking horrendous.
But this one I find harder.
Well, I mean, to be on your own, I mean, you were all right. You had Rob with you there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to be living upstairs over the pub on my own, but it was more or less, I think, after 5 weeks where I knew, because I mean, I had a lot of stuff in the freezer. I had a lot of stuff in the big freezer that I have in the shed and things like that. And so I was all right for food for about 5-6 weeks. But then when it was like my first day that I actually went to the supermarket in Asdas, and it's only like about 5 minutes away from where I live, and it was the fact that I had to queue to get into the shop.
Weird, wasn't it?
And I'm there with a mask on, I'm there with a pair of gloves on, and like everybody's like, you're 2 meters distance and things like that, and I felt that this the first time to go shopping, and I was like, I felt myself hyperventilating. I said to myself, son, I can't cope with this. And then I had to ring my best friend in Susie Fuller, who she lives up in Hemel Hempstead. I had to ring her today because I was starting to have a panic attack because I was queuing up into a supermarket that I'd been shopping in for at least fucking 7 years, and I never had to queue up to go into it, like, you know. Yeah. And then I think after that, like, I was waking up early in the morning, and my family would ring me from Australia, and I think it was coming to that stage where I was actually feeling so down on myself. But to speak to my mum and dad and my brother and sister-in-law in Australia, and it was just saying, Mr. Nissy, okay, you don't seem to be yourself today, and then that was it. I would just start crying because I knew I was having a bad day as soon as I woke up. Because I mean, I was going to sleep at like 3 or 4, maybe 5 in the morning, waking up at 6:30. It's like your whole sleeping pattern is gone. Yeah. Everything is just what's the word I can use? Everything is a challenge. You know, to get up out of bed, to turn on the kettle, to go in and have a shower. And I will admit, I mean, when when we were opened, I was having a shower every morning, maybe a shave every second day.
Did you have a routine?
You know what I mean? The routine was there. But it was coming to a stage after the 5 weeks, I wasn't even having a shower. I was only having a shower once a week and a shave once a week.
Dirty bastard.
But I just had no energy to fucking do it. I just couldn't
do it. You don't have motivation, you've got no reason
exactly,
to do it.
You know what I mean? And I said to myself, well, I'm not going fucking out.
Yeah.
I'm not going for a walk. I'm sick of going out for walks because I look out in the morning and I see there's like hundreds of people out in the street when we're in lockdown. I just couldn't understand that. We opened back up on the 4th of July. Then we had about 4 months, and then we closed again then on the 3rd of, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd of November. Yeah. And then we opened up again on the...
So it's opening and closing. And
it is. It's a constant hassle because there's so much things you have to do in a pub to close down, like, you know, drain all the beer from the lines,
so you had to change, obviously you were offering the meals.
Yeah, exactly. We had to do all the meals during the when we opened up on the 4th of July. So, and then some days, like, you know, I was doing the bar, doing the food, running the tables back and forth. And it was great because I was losing fucking weight rapidly. Everything, all the weight I put on during the first lockdown, I was running around like a lunatic, and I felt myself, I think I lost about 1.5 stone. And I felt great with myself, but now, I've put it all back on since 16 December. But
we're beers.
We're bears, exactly.
Embrace
it.
We
hold it well. But but this one has been, the winter one has been the hardest.
I think so as well. I mean, my experience has been quite different to yours. I mean, it's like I remember being sent home.
You've been working from home as
well,
and then
I remember getting
Rob there as well. Like, you know.
Exactly. I mean, my office, the company I work for is in Soho, and we got sent home on March 16th, and at the start it was a novelty. It was sort of like I never thought of myself as someone who could work from home because I don't know. I sort of always thought, I would be disciplined. I would be doing this and that rather than doing work. And so working from home, and also with my husband working, he's got his little office set up in the bedroom. I thought, you know, we're going to be on top of each other all the time. It's going to get frustrating and whatever. So no, it was at the start. It was a novelty. It was great being able to be like literally, and I say this with no lie. Some days I would work naked. I would literally be at my desk. I was like, whatever, you know, and it was sort of like it was fun. It was like, you know, but that after that period of time, it sort of drained and
just drizzled out a bit because I mean,
I think it started getting colder. Yeah, and then we were promised all these like the lockdowns would be eased, and my weight has fluctuated like nothing before. I've gotten so much bigger and smaller, and you know I had lost all the. I tell you.
She used to be anorexic.
But no, you know,
she's mega built.
I'd focused on losing weight, and I was doing that, and then I had done that, and then lockdown hit again,
But
and then
I think if you're doing doing like going to the gym.
yeah,
I mean that could be like for a lot of people, and literally yourself, mentally that could be something to
you know what,
to work it mentally
I
over.
always found, and I said this to Rob, but the gym for me, I became someone. I've always found it very difficult to go to the gym. I'm a bear, so I'm a little hefty all over,
Little ginger bear.
and I'm embracing that. But I had set out my goals and all that, and I was losing weight, and then I had put all the weight back on, so I put all the weight back on now. But it during that period, it became like a safe space because, in terms of my mental health, which has been extremely bad over the last, it's been bad for about 15 years.
Up and down like a horse pair of knickers.
Yeah. My mental health is quite bad in general. I have quite severe depression, and I've dealt with that for a number of years. But the gym has always helped me.
Yeah.
The gym is always, and I describe the gym.
A lot of people it's
Yeah,
helped.
I describe the gym to Rob as a safe space.
It's just your little getaway place.
But
to
it
be,
was
to be you.
after I
You know
got
what
my routine together, it became literally my safe space where I could put on my headphones. People would look at me and think I'm listening to Metallica and I'm listening to Spice Girls.
Where you listen to Steps.
I was listening to Steps.
So.
So people would look at me and go, yeah.
She might look like a butch bear, but deep down she's Campus Christmas.
Honestly, no. People would at my last gym. People would look at me and go, yeah, like give me the
Yeah, so all right, mate. How you doing?
Yeah. You're clearly listening to Metallica.
Like that, you go like that. Yes, yeah, fucking
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Big butch
But
bear.
obviously, I'd be like listening to Steps or Spice Girls or whatever.
She walk in, she goes, "Hiya!"
Working out.
Sorry, I've just hurt my wrist.
But no, it became my safe space, and it became. I really felt that it helped my mental health because I would be going to the gym 2 times a day, and it felt like that place where I could put on my headphones, and work out with like-minded people, and I just sort of forgot everything that
was going on around you.
Yeah, everything that, especially the last year that I've been going through personally.
Yeah.
I was able to sort of like for a moment cut off from lockdown, and focus on. I had goals, and then that got stopped.
I think that's we could actually you've hit the nail on the head here with another big topic that we could actually bring up about mental health during the last 3 lockdowns, because we more or less have had 3 lockdowns. The second one wasn't as big one; it was only a 4 one. It was manageable, but I mean the first one and the third one have been a bit longer than what we probably expected.
Yeah.
But I think that could be a major
Maybe
topic of
something we cover in the next one
conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that would be.
I think it's a serious thing. I think it's something that I've been speaking to a lot of friends who I'm very open about my own mental health. I don't hold back, and I think that being open has actually I've had a lot of conversations with friends recently who have seen maybe a post on Facebook or me sort of like divulging in my own experiences recently, and they've been prompted to come forward and talk to me about stuff. And I think there's a stigma of not talking about mental health stuff. When it comes to men, I think there's a stigma of not wanting to talk about it, to not be masculine, or you feel weak.
Yeah.
I think maybe we touch on a different one and dedicate it.
I think I've never been in I won't say I've never been in a situation where mental health has affected me, but I think it has, and maybe when we do have that 30 minutes or 40 minutes conversation about it, maybe I could tell you what way I was feeling and what you as being having a lot of depression and mental health issues yourself, that we could actually, you would probably be saying what I tell you is, yeah, definitely, that's definitely what you're going through is what probably just millions of people are going through. You know what I mean? In my own head, I probably wouldn't think it's a mental health issue, but I would say yes, it has. These lockdowns have affected me in a way that I don't think I can explain it to my mum and dad, or I can explain it to my brothers. I could explain it to you, and you would turn around and say, "Jay, boom, boom, nail on the head.
Yeah.
You were going through something similar to what I was going through,
Yeah.
but maybe yours might be a bit more intense. Like a lot of people's, a lot of people's emotions are a lot higher with if they've suffered with it longer than I suffered with it. I mean, I've only suffered with it. Going back to childhood, I did have a few issues of being molested and things like that. That affected that, but a sort of silver coated it, put it in a bubble and put it to the back of my mind.
Yeah.
That's probably another topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Jesus, what's this? I feel like I've got verbal diarrhea. It's just
Wow.
rolling at me. And that could be another topic of conversation. But I think, there's a lot of topics of conversations that we can touch on, and and we can get people. We could do a video, maybe a video live feed, maybe on Facebook. If anybody has any suggestions to talk about stuff, or they wanted to email us, we could give them our email address, and we could print out the letters, and you can put your name as, if you didn't want your name mentioned, you could say that to us in the email, saying, "Oh, I want you to hold back my name," or whatever, and we could, we could sort of be agony uncles, agony
Yeah, of
aunts.
course, yeah.
We can listen to what people say, and maybe
Medical advisors,
Yeah.
I'm non-professional.
Yeah,
Obviously.
and
No qualifications
we could bring people
whatsoever.
we could bring people into the conversation. You know what I mean? We could we could have maybe my phone video, and then we can maybe do a live feed, maybe or something. If I don't know what way we'll do it, but we'll. I mean, he's the computer wizard. Me, I'm just the wannabe bear that wants to dress up in women's clothes and entertain.
You're the beauty of
Well-
of the duo.
I have to think about that one.
But no, I think that's a good way of rounding things off for today.
Yeah.
And I think if anyone's got any suggestions about things that you want us to cover, then I think leave a comment on because we're going to be putting this on YouTube.
Straight away.
Yep. And I think leave a comment at any point. We'll pick them up and we will touch on them.
Yeah, exactly. And
You know,
also
even,
as well.
even if it's about our amazing fashion sense. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm wearing Heart Zach
Yeah,
tonight. Heart Zach t-shirt, amazing glitter origami bear.
I'm wearing J Bear.
J Bear?
J Bear is the new line from You Won It Truly.
Oh, well,
Joking. That could be a new could be a new line of business.
hang on, are you looking at my cock?
Yes, and it's,
Oh, wow.
I tell you one
Amazing.
thing, you need to be
Amazing.
plugged.
Thank you. But no, honestly, leave your messages, leave your comments,
Leave your
if you've got
comments
any feedback.
and share this page with everybody.
Yeah, subscribe to us.
We're I think we have a Facebook page, haven't we?
No, we don't have a Facebook page. We did set up a YouTube page, and
Yeah.
we do have an email. Don't know what that is. I can't remember. Sorry.
I think
my
it's
bad.
Brendan and Jay.
Or is it BJ?
No, they
Uh,
wouldn't accept BJ.
no, they
I think
wouldn't.
it was Brendan and Jay at gmail.com, I
But
think.
we will actually. Maybe we'll even post that at the
I
bottom
mean,
of the video.
even if anybody
Yeah.
we'll just give this email out there at the minute. Win my name WYNNE.Jason @hotmail.co.uk. It's an email address I don't really use that much, so if you want it, just do it, and then we'll give you the proper email address when we do a live feed.
Yeah, just leave some comments, and we'll post actually our email address at the bottom of the
I mean,
video.
I've got a few things wrote out here, but we're way out of time now, so
Yeah, but
You know,
we will
yeah.
touch on that, and I think let's touch on the whole mental health stuff next week.
yeah,
and
definitely.
Go from there. But thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Lovies and leavies
Mwah.
from Jay and Bren, but from the B and J show.
BJ.
Good night, God
Everyone loves
bless.
a good BJ.
Love yous all. God bless.